I've built hundreds of n8n workflows for clients and this YouTube channel, and one of the biggest things that I see trip people up is working with multiple binary files and attachments in n8n. Attachments come in bundled together, and your workflow only handles one or completely breaks. Let me show you the better way to do it instead. First of all, we're going to show you the Gmail trigger. So I've got an example email here. I'm going to attach 5 example invoices for us to be able to send through. We'll let that all upload, and then we'll just press send. We're going to come back across to our n8n instance. We're going to be using a Gmail trigger and saving all of them into our Google Drive folder. All we need to do is have this running in the background or press execute. It's now going to go through, realize that we've got 5 attachments for that specific email that came through. We're then going to be able to split them out so they're 5 unique items and individually load them into our Google Drive, all with the correct file name associated with them as well. If we come back across, as you can see here, we've now got 5 invoices ready to go for us to process. That's how quick and easy it is to do it with this version. However, if you've got lots of maybe files that you want to be able to upload or use an e-form with, we can do it with this workflow here. We're going to do execute workflow. Perhaps you've got a specific request, analyzing files. Let me know if you want to see that, and we'll include that in another video. In this use case, we're just going to come across and upload 5 different CSV files. We then want to be storing them in these 5 different data tables that we've already set up. So again, all we need to do is come back, submit those files. It's now going to go through, and instead of trying to process maybe just one, we've actually got all 5 of those binary files ready to go for us to process. And then as quick as that, we've gone and uploaded almost 4,200 records into their data tables. So if we come across and just refresh each one of these, what we'll see is that we've now got all of that data stored within it. So if we come back to the first one, we've now got 50 pages and 2,000 different diamonds that we could analyze. We've got 83 pages in here and 3,284 rows of data to do with F1 drivers. We've then got 50 pages of 2,000 different student results. And we've got another 27 pages and 1,000 different videos that we've analyzed with YouTube. So that's the easiest way that we've been able to do it. Today, I'll show you exactly how we set this up using one magic code node that's able to split out all of these files. Because if you're not handling binary files correctly, it can massively limit the workflows that you're producing and lose data potentially. So before I walk through the magic code, definitely come across to our community. You'll get access to this for free. I've included the code ready to go. So how does this code work? Well, let's bring back up that example email that we had from earlier on. So let's load up our Gmail trigger. We've also turned on that we want to download our attachments to make sure that we've got all of them coming through, as we can see here. So now that we've got the 5 files in the workflow for us to analyze, how do we get it to be 5 individual items instead of 1? Well, we're going to come out of here and use the code snippet. So now what you can see is instead of having 1 item, we've now got 5 items instead. And to show you, we've got item 1, item 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we've also got all of those individual schema elements behind it as well. So it's still got the unique name for each of those files that have come through. So again, as shown, when you store that in your Google Drive, you've also got access to it nice and easily. So how are we doing that? Well, we're using this code here. Again, come across to the community to get it for free. And what we're doing is we're separating out all of those files from the array into individual items. The reason for this is because n8n, when it captures all of the attachments, it stores them in an array. So what do I mean by an array? Well, what we're doing, if we come out of here and we just bring up the execution with our CSV workflows, what we'll be able to see in here is that when we captured all of that data, if we come across to schema, we've now got item 1, item 2, item 3, and item 4. So what we need to do is make sure that we're splitting them out so each one can be processed individually. So now let's come back across to our code module So what we're doing is creating, first of all, an empty array to then be able to store each of those binary images. What we're then doing is one by one looping through however many attachments we've got to separate them out. As you can see here, we're then going through and we're basically capturing all of the file names. And if there's no binary data, then we're not going to include it. What we're then doing is creating a separate item and adding it to our results array. What we're then doing is going through and actually accessing all of the metadata that we want to access. In this use case, that metadata is only the file name. But if you wanted to include other elements, maybe a name of a person who sent it to you, or if we come across, maybe you want to say it's a PDF or the MIME type or the file size, anything else like that we can include as metadata. We're then going through and actually holding that individual file in a separate binary item so that we can then process one by one. And then what this means is because we've got our array, we're actually returning each of those individual results to process them separately. So now this means you don't need to go through, do lots of split out nodes like other people may have shown you. With one code node, we can get all of that data, both the metadata of maybe a file name and that binary object outputted nice and easily to input into our Google Drive, to go through and store it in different data tables and much, much more. So now we know how it works. How do we add it into our workflow? Well, if you've not used it before, we're going to be using a code node. So to do that, we'll come to our Gmail trigger here, or wherever that binary data is coming from. You need to make sure that that code node goes straight after this. That's why our binary data is coming from the Gmail trigger. So we've got our code node straight after that. Or we've got the on-form submission where we're capturing all of the data in this part. So we need to have our binary data code node straight after that. All you want to do is pull down. You then want to search for code and do code in JavaScript. Or if you delete this, you just want to come to the top right and do a code node. Then you can do code in JavaScript exactly the same way. We'll make sure it's connected up to wherever that binary data is coming through. We'll then come across to the community. We'll just copy all of the code in here and paste into our code module. Now what you can see here is we've got all of those attachments, execute step, and we get the individual ones back. So that's how quick and easy it is to go through and add in that extra module. And as always, stay tuned for more around AI automation and have a great day.